New Zealand in to bat. We pick up play now in the very first over. Kapil Dev is the bowler to John Wright, the left-hander. No runs on the board. Your commentators, Ian Chappell and Keith Stackpole.
An edge there, I would say he's on the way. And Kapil Dev has got an early breakthrough. Vishwanath taking a simple catch behind. And what a good breakthrough for India.
It certainly is, Ian. And this has been the tendency right throughout this competition for the Indians to get that early breakthrough. And they'd be certainly relieved to see the back of John Wright, a player who can score very quickly. A faint edge there, straight through to Vishwanath. They could hardly believe their luck picking up a wicket in the very first over. So a terrible start for New Zealand, right out without scoring. Caught Vishwanath, bowled Kapil Dev. In the very first over, New Zealand 1 for none.
Roger Binney to McEwen.
That'll just clear Siva Ramakrishnan, who's fielding at point. And an unconvincing 2 there to Paul McEwen. 4 runs coming in that over. New Zealand 1 for 8 after 4.
Paul McEwen likes to play his shots, and that's very important in these first 15 overs with the field in. Already today he's shown that inclination to hit the ball.
Here it is again, and he's picked the gap this time. Beautiful shot. First boundary of the innings. And Paul McEwen is a lovely timer of the ball. He just wouldn't try and hit the ball on the onside quite so often, and play those sort of shots. He could be a very good player.
That was perfectly struck through that cover area. Beautiful contact. Right to the pitch of the ball, hit it on the up, and finished it off with good placement. Hardly moved from his crease.
And that's a good follow-up there from Roger Binney, and he's got him. Must have been a faint edge. There was a little extra bounce there for Binney. And a very good reply from the Indian opening bowler after being smashed through the covers.
Roger Binney at times a little deceptive with his pace, and this was a much quicker delivery from him. It wasn't pitched up as the previous one was. It was a little quicker, a little shorter. And Vishwanath, he loves this Sydney cricket ground. 5 victims last week and already picked up 2. So that's another good breakthrough for the Indians. McEwen out for 9 and New Zealand 2 for 14.
New Zealand 2 for 16 after 7 overs. Roger Binney is going to continue from the Paddington end. To continue in the commentary position, it'll be Frank Tyson and Tony Greig.
Thank you, Ian, and good afternoon, everybody. Beautiful shot. Lovely timing through extra cover. And this outfield looks just a little quicker to me than it's been in recent matches. That one rolling away down to the boundary, all the way along the ground.
Binney to Crowe.
It's in the air, but it's through the field on the onside. And once again down towards the deep mid-wicket boundary. Crowe off the mark with that boundary. It was played uppishly through the onside. So it's Kapil Dev to the left-handed Reed. A little bit of swing there for him, and Kapil Dev inquiring about that one, but it was very wide. What a good throw. Amarnath asking the question too down that other end. Vinny was quick onto that one, and a good throw. First wicket falling before a run had been registered. They then put on 14 before McEwen was out. And so things beginning to look up for them now. 2 for 32 the score. And that's good running. Shy at the stumps, but he would have been well home, and that's a misfield down that end. They'll get 5 for this. The shy at the stumps. The backing up wasn't very good. It looked like Mahinda Amarnath, who was diving away desperately there to cut off that overthrow from Siva Ramakrishnan. Kapil Dev not very happy at all. New Zealand 2 for 37. It's in the air and through the gap on the offside. So Reid beginning to cut loose here a little now. The field a little slow. But that's a bad misfield. Well, it looked as if it hit the rope. I'm not too sure about that. We'll have to have another look at it, but it seemed that they'd made a terrible mess of it. Yes, the four's been signalled down there. A lot of New Zealanders in front of that stand weren't too happy about this. Let's have another look.
There's a sporting gesture there by Madden Lal, but it was quite obvious that there was a great deal of confusion here as the fieldsman approached the boundary, leaving it to one, and now Madden Lal slips over. The ball goes beyond Madden Lal, touches the rope.
Madden Lal is the bowler, Crow taking strike. And he's gone. Third wicket down. And India struck again. The pacemen have done it once more. They ripped through Australia the other day in Melbourne. And Mohammad Azharuddin has now caught Martin Crowe at slightly backward point. Pacemen doing all the damage again.
Just what New Zealand didn't need. Martin Crowe looking to play the ball away forcefully through the offside, but the ball flying from a thick outside edge to just behind point. And Mohammad Azharuddin takes the catch comfortably. It went straight to him. So New Zealand in the 15th over, 3 for 52.
After 18 overs, it's 3 for 62. The medium-pace seamers and swingers have taken the wicket so far. Kapil Dev, Binny and Madden Lal getting a wicket each. Madden Lal about to bowl his 5th over.
Still Gavaskar has 5 men inside that circle. Only has to have 4, but there's 5 at the moment. Indication he has the feeling that he's on top. Ravi Shastri, the fielder, is one of the 2 spinners who will come into this attack a little later.
So India have got a very nice balance in their team at the moment. Be leg buys. And Houth coming back for the second. He's in trouble. Yes, he's in big trouble. That's a very good throw there. Kapil Dev has been excellent in the outfield.
And that might be one of the reasons he was in trouble. I think the strap at the top of his left pad has snapped on the second run and has hampered him on the way through.
He's off the pad there and just sneaking past the keeper Vishwanath, who was annoyed at missing it. Then Kapil Dev with a magnificent return. Catches Jeffrey Houth just a fraction out of his crease. And a very disappointed New Zealand captain leaves the ground with his pad flapping. It's 4 for 69.
3.39 now, and Amannath has bowled 5 overs, no wicket for 14. It's hit away on this leg side and into the gap. Reid turns blind, comes back and gets 2.
Azharuddin out in the deep. Good piece of fielding, good quick return. Wasn't quick enough to beat John Reid. It's just a little too high for keeper Vishwanath to drag it down. John Reid doing the right thing, grounding the bat.
3.4 at the moment. Jeremy Coney has the strike. Mahinda Amannath to continue. It's in the air and he's just a little lucky to get away with that. Didn't time it very well, but it's found the gap and it's running away down to the boundary and over the top it goes. Roger Binny not able to drag that one back. And that boundary will bring a little relief to the New Zealanders watching this match.
It certainly will. The first boundary coming from New Zealanders' bats in 12 overs. That's exactly what they need now. There's plenty of those.
4 men inside the circle. to be close. Oh, if he'd hit there, Coney was gone. And Sonny runs up and makes out to knock the bails off with his right hand.
Coney is the Old English name for a rabbit, and I'm sure that Coney needed to scurry like a rabbit to get in. He wouldn't have made it either had that been a direct hit.
And there's the 50 for Reid. So in his 3 innings so far, 22 not out, a 62 and a 50 not out.
Only one boundary has been hit in the last 19 overs. That was hit by Jeremy Coney.
It's a good solid shot from John Reid. He certainly looks at home against the spinners.
That, of course, is John Reid's great strength. He successfully combated the wiles of Abdul Kader during the Test series in New Zealand recently, and there he is using his feet very nicely to the left armour Ravi Shastri. And that was New Zealand's 25th single in succession.
Nice bit of flight there from Shastri. And still, it's just a trickle of singles. 4 for 115. And here's a chance for a 2. Oh, finally, after all those singles, we've come up with a double.
And that was well run by John Reid. Again, hitting the ball not far from one of those deep-set fieldsmen, but running the first one hard and coming home for 2.
And there's a fieldsman there, Kapil Dev, straight down his throat. So Reid, after having done all the hard work, has holed out. And Kapil Dev, a very, very good outfielder. He's already been involved in 1 run out and took that catch very safely.
With this dismissal, perhaps the consequence of John Reid trying to put the New Zealand innings up a gear, down the wicket, hitting the ball in the air. He doesn't do that very often, but on this occasion he chose the wrong fieldsman to hit it in the air too. Kapil Dev takes the catch comfortably. John Reid out for 55, caught Kapil Dev, bowled Shastri, and in the 35th over, with drinks coming onto the field, New Zealand 5 for 119.
Sivaramakrishnan bowls to Smith.
That's wide of Binney, and a much needed boundary there for New Zealand. 5 for 133 after 38 overs.
He's Shastri now, left arm round the wicket to Coney. There's a good top spinner, a quicker one from Ravi Shastri. None too confidently played, but he'll pick up 2 runs. And it's 5 for 139.
Five for 142. Coney 33, Smith 12. Partnership of some 24 runs between these two.
It was certainly worth a good shout, which is what Ravi Shastri gave it. But not worth the overthrow. It was good running between the wickets. It's the first time the Indian fielding has just slackened a little. I don't think that'll go down as one of the better shots of the day or of Jeremy Coney's career. The very last thing in the world they wanted was to lose another wicket there. Coney 33, bowled by Shastri, the one that came on with the arm, and still 9 overs to go.
Jeremy Coney then clearly indicating his intentions, giving himself a little bit of room outside that off stump, and Shastri delivering the arm ball. And New Zealand now at that loss of Kearney for 33, 6 for 145 with 9 overs remaining.
Richard Hadley takes strike to Ravi Shastri. Hadley, and that should be out. Safely caught out there at deep mid-off. And Martin Lal has taken the catch. Richard Hadley has gone, came in late in the order, and has not lasted very long at all.
Once again, Ravi Shastri picking up 3 wickets. One of the features of this competition has been the outfield catching by the Indians. Hardly one has slipped away from them, and Madam Lal, confident catch again. So Richard Hadley out for 3. New Zealand in the 43rd over, 7 for 151.
Well, 6 overs to go now. And Madan Lal, who's bowled 5 overs, taken 1 for 10, being brought into the attack, and the New Zealanders going along at 3.62 per over. Cairns has the strike. And he's hit that one down towards square leg very strongly, just over the boundary rope, I think, for 6. I think it was fractionally over the rope, or was it? Umpire signalling 4. We may have to have another look at that. I think it was the fieldsman down there who perhaps indicated that it bounced just inside the rope.
Well, the crowd here at the SCG letting out a loud boo when the umpire signalled. But we can't really tell too much from that, I'm afraid.
Kapil Dev to Lance Cairns.
That's a full toss and smashed back. Just wide of the bowler. They'll come back for a second. This could be close. Big appeal there for the run out, but that's good running by Smith. He went flying down the wicket and got himself back just in time.
Ian Smith very nippy indeed between the wickets. The throw was a good one from Azharuddin, but Ian Smith very quickly, and that was a very close decision, but the umpire quite rightly judging in the batsman's favour.
Well, that's played through the gap on the offside. No protection down there, and this may just get to the rope. It will. Roger Binny's not very good at dragging those back. A couple of occasions now he's chased it out to the rope and given it away right at the death.
Ian Smith still playing a very effective little hand, and he'll be in strike now to the next over.
Yes, the best thing he can do is get a single, I should think, and that's got to be out. Very close. Whew. Perhaps it was just missing the leg stump, but it did keep low. Smith tried to pull it away, and my initial reaction was that it was plumb. Well, it'll be interesting to have another look, perhaps going down the leg side.
You caught a glimpse of Ian Smith's expression. I don't think he could believe that he got away with that either.
Madan Lal to Smith.
And straight down the ground. This could be out. It will be out. They don't make many mistakes in the outfield. Mahinda Amanath down there latching onto a pretty straightforward catch. And that's the end of Ian Smith. Out caught in the deep for 19.
Well, Ian Smith trying to emulate Lance Cairns and keep the runs coming. Dancing down the wicket. Didn't hit the ball particularly well. Up in the air and down the throat of Jimmy Amanath at deep mid-off. Ian Smith departs. And New Zealand, with just over 2 overs to go, 8 for 188.
Well, and that'll be 4. There's no one down at fine leg. That's not very good bowling by Kapil Dev. They've left that area vacant. And anything in that on that leg stump that's played away fine is going to go to the boundary. Madan Lal bowling to Cairns. Can we have a big one to finish with? He's going for it. It's high and it's miles in the air. There's someone underneath it. It's gone up miles. It's dropped dead. Well, I think it was Shrikant down there. But that was miles in the air, and they are loving it. I don't think I've seen many go higher than that. Well, he'll go again, that's for sure. There he goes, and it's Shrikant again. He can't have 2 in a row. He doesn't want it. That bounces just short of the rope, and it's gone for 4. Well,
I think that one nearly went as high as it went far as well. I tell you what, Srikanth didn't want to know.
No way, and Sonny Gavaskar not very happy with the performance of his outfielders during those two deliveries, urging his men on.
Srikanth's been taken around down to square leg. 2 balls always at Kepaldev. Kepaldev been moved down to that deep mid-wicket position. Oh, Srikanth's under the again. He's got him this time. Well, Sonny Gavaskar's moved him away out of the danger area. And what happened? Cairns hit it straight to him this time. He made no mistake. We'll have a look at Gavaskar. And the Indians are really very happy.
Well, Lance Cairns was trying to hit it over the top of all those fields, but he's tried to do it on 2 previous occasions in this over. He's never really middled any of these shots. And Srikanth down there at backward square leg heaves a monstrous sigh of relief as he takes the catch, and Lance Cairns out for 39 off 29 balls. What a most effective innings.
Martin Snedden taking strike to Madan Lal.
Well, he's hit it. It's going down the ground. Will this be out? Azruddin's there. He's caught it. New Zealand all out of the last ball of their innings. 206 posted by them. And that's not a bad recovery after a dreadful start.
No wicket for 4 from 3 overs, and that's in reply to New Zealand's score.
Oh, and that's a good delivery from Hadley. Angled in and then just moving away through the air. A maiden, it's none for 4.
This is Lance Cairns. Nicely timed. Just 2 runs. This will be the most testing time these openers have had in this World Championship of Cricket. Richard Hadley to Shastri.
Paul McEwen is fairly square, and Shastri has guided that one down to a fine third man for the first boundary of the innings.
Very frustrating for New Zealand, but Indian supporters will be delighted about that.
Quite a chase there for Martin Snedden. Srikanth is very quick between wickets, and he comes back for the 3rd.
Chatfield to Srikanth.
That's a more typical shot from Srikanth. What a chase for Lance Cairns. And India once again making a good start. They posted 124 against Australia. They're on the way again.
And Srikanth has now made his 1,000th run in limited overs internationals.
John Reid getting underneath it, and that ball not bouncing anywhere near as high as what Srikanth thought it was going to. And Ewan Chatfield has struck the first blow for New Zealand.
I think that feeling I had was quite right. He went for that, tried to pull it, and as Ian Chappell has underlined, it didn't bounce all that high. And in the end, I think he tried to check his stroke.
Srikanth caught by Reid from the bowling of Chatfield for 9. India 1 for 28 in the 9th over.
And after 10 overs, New Zealand were 2 for 37. Went on to get 206. India a little behind as far as runs are concerned. Deficit of 9. They've got an extra wicket up their sleeve.
That's beautifully played through the gap on the onside. Very characteristic of a lot of these Indian batsmen, very whippy with the wrists.
Seems to me that Martin Snedden has slowed down a bit. He's not trying to bowl as fast as last time we saw him, concentrating more on length and moving the ball.
Azharuddin was after him, but Snedden dropped it short on him. And another round of applause here. The crowd is getting very involved here. They can sense that this is a tremendous effort being put up by the New Zealanders. They're defending a small total. Just 206. Well bowled and well fielded. Good cricket from Martin Snedden, and a roar of applause from this SCG crowd. 1 for 46 in 20 overs. Kearney to Azharuddin. Now there's 4, and that is the position that's been left open to try and buy the wicket. It was a real cross batter.
And the Indian supporters rise to their feet to greet the first bright moment in 14 overs. The first time that the ball has reached the boundary fence. It was a fairly agricultural looking stroke on the part of Azharuddin. It's a fairly crucial time for Indian hopes. They must get Coney away for runs.
Beautifully played. Perfect placing, just inside mid-off and just away to the left of the man at long on.
Well, so far so good. The question one asks oneself is, can this go on? I think the Indian batsmen Azharuddin and Shastri realise they must get after Coney.
Chatfield now to Azharuddin. The shot of the evening so far. And suddenly the run rate jumps.
Oh, this young man from Hyderabad. When he plays a shot like that, he doesn't look like the bank off.
Mohammad Azharuddin has taken strike. And it's in the air. It should be caught. It's John Reid. Oh, what a catch! Coney it was, came around with Reid racing towards it. That is a marvellous catch. Mohammad Azharuddin has gone. Reid was racing in from long on. Coney took it on himself to run away from the bowler and the batsman, and he took a superb catch over his shoulder.
Oh yes, that's a catch that's going to lift that New Zealand side, because Azharuddin hit that fairly well in the meat. It went very, very high, was going away from Coney as he chased after it. And it was a case of now you see it, now you don't. And I think that Jeremy Coney didn't see it for most of the way. He had his eyes upwards. Oh my word, how well he judged it. A superb catch.
And that was John Reid, came into picture just a few yards away from Coney. Azharuddin out for 24, 2 for 73.
You mentioned that Ravi Shastri hit 6 sixes in 1 over, and you don't know who the bowler was, do you? I certainly don't think he's become as famous as Malcolm Nash has anyway. He was the guy that Garfield Sobers hit the 6 sixes off in 1968.
That's nicely placed. I think Sarkar will get back for the second. It's important to pick up the 2s as well. It's 2 for 86. Ravi Shastri is playing it pretty intelligently out there.
He posed a hypothetical question before as to whether or not the bowler who delivered the over in which Shastri hit 6 sixes would become as well known as Malcolm Nash, the bowler who had 6 sixes hit off him by Garfield Sobers back in 1968. We've been informed by our statistician Irving Rosenwater. The bowler's name was Taki Raj.
There's 50 to Ravi Shastri. And I think that's very tacky of you, Peter, to mention the guy's name.
Well played, Ravi Shastri. That's his second consecutive half-century in this World Championship Series. So Richard Hadlee, who has not taken a wicket tonight, but he's bowled quite magnificently, particularly against Srikanth when he had up in all sorts of strife outside the off stump. No wicket for 11 off 5. Hadlee about to start his 6th over. Once again, the responsibility of securing a breakthrough for New Zealand rests on the shoulders of this great all-rounder.
And taken at point. He's broken through immediately. And Ravi Shastri, the man that they wanted, comfortably caught at point by Paul McEwen. So in the 32nd over, Hadlee has stung like a bee.
Just what the doctor ordered as far as New Zealand was concerned. Ravi Shastri, the bat a long way from his body, and the ball just spooned to Paul McEwen. And Hadlee applauds his Canterbury teammate because the 3rd Indian wicket has fallen. And the score is 3 for 102 in the 32nd over.
Hadlee to Kapil Dev.
And that's nicely placed, beating Chatfield at 3rd man. That pad has been brought in to put some extra pressure on Kapil Dev.
Chatfield to Kapil Dev. It's in the air over point. Won't go for 4. It was miscued, meant to be hit down the ground. But they'll get 3. This is the danger time so far as New Zealand are concerned. This man Kapil Dev has already gone past double figures. 3 for 118. Hadlee got into Vensaka. Slashed away for 4. Hadlee at the start gave these fellas absolutely no room at all. Kapil Dev, the man taking strike, gave him no room at all in the early overs. There's a bit of room there, outside the off stump and short. Brilliant stroke again. Hadlee's too short and too wide.
Well, the Indians are dancing in the aisles. They're loving every second of this. Kapil Dev, of course, a big hero in India.
Oh no! Now that could be the match. John Reid at mid-off, beautifully bowled by Hadlee, the slower ball. Everything went right, except that it came out of Reid's hands.
Yes, it is hit quite firmly, but it was straight to him, and it's the sort of catch that any test player should take.
Shots. Now that's adding a little bit of insult to a lot of injury.
Oh, this is magnificent cricket. Kapil Dev at his very, very best.
Hadlee to Vensaka. It's a very, very expensive over for Hadlee and for New Zealand. India have raced along now to 3 for 135. Snedden to Vensaka. Four runs, only just out of the reach of the close infielder there. But beautifully struck by Kapildev, by Dilip Venkata.
Yes, Venkata now beginning to unleash a few beautiful drives. Lovely cover drive there.
3 for 166. 38 Kapildev, 39 Venkata. Venkata has strike. There's a beautiful stroke for 3. In the air but safe, and 3 more. This time Kapildev. Great stroke. Beautiful cricket from India here. Tied down just after the start of their innings by some brilliant New Zealand work. They've fought back and now they're carving the attack. And safely away through slip. Chatfield can't get it for more. And the score's fairly racing along now. Venkata has gone past the half-century mark.
Hadley back into the attack. This Hadley's first 3 overs, all maidens, and Srikanth all at sea against him.
And Keppel's got hold of that one. Be just one bounce and over the rope. And I don't think he hit it in the middle, but it still almost carried to the longest boundary on the ground. There's the slower ball. He hasn't quite got that one in the middle. And it will pitch just like a wedge shot going into the green. And that's the 50 for Kapildev and the 200 coming up for India. And we could be well on the way to a replay of the 1983 World Cup final. Kapildev strikes the winning blow. It'll just be a single. Ball will stop short of the boundary. And so India claim victory in the 44th over. And they go through to the final. And the Indians are really on the warpath.